I'm Allendale Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin with a look at your midday weather update. What's going on as we take a look at the latest model information into us? Well, so far there's not a lot of change out there. Surface analysis shows that our frontal complex is working eastward, still has some decent moisture with it. We're seeing a nice line of thunderstorms now running from southeastern parts of Missouri all the way down through Arkansas into Louisiana, East Texas. We've even had a tornado watch box issued farther north now for the extreme southern tip of Illinois and into southeast Missouri. So there are expectations of some stronger storms, maybe some heavier rain shifting north. Moisture covers a good chunk of Missouri right now. It's starting to work into parts of Illinois, a little bit into Indiana. The cool front itself, though, has not made a lot of progress east. It runs right now from basically north-central parts of Minnesota all the way back down through Wichita, Kansas, Oklahoma City, and back toward the Dallas area in Texas. So we haven't seen that move east exceptionally fast. This is going to be slowing down, I think, as it goes, and part of the reason is we're going to be seeing a transition to this being a closed, cut-off low as it comes across the lower Mississippi Valley through the Missouri Valley and into the Ozarks. This is going to slow dramatically. That'll put down more moisture, although we're going to leave our totals alone. We're still looking at a top end of the range around 2 inches. There will be slightly higher amounts locally speaking with thunderstorms. I'm particularly looking at Arkansas, especially eastern Arkansas, could see some 3-inch or better totals in there. But generally speaking, it's going to be kind of a slower, gentle rain pace, especially up across a good part of the Corn Belt. Latest model imagery into us right now, as we said, shows this thing still wanting to move eastward relatively slowly. It's going to be on pace to be out of here probably as we get on into Wednesday morning, at least in terms of the heavy rain in the front. But behind, if this is a cutoff low, I'm expecting a lot of cloud cover to kind of hold on, especially over Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, potentially even down into Kentucky and Tennessee as we go through Thursday and maybe even into Friday. There'll be some better clearing out west, but over the eastern Corn Belt, don't be surprised if you see clouds and maybe even spits and sprinkles hold on well past midweek. So to say that harvest conditions are going to be getting better exceptionally fast would be a little bit of a misnomer. What I think we're going to be looking at is good harvest potential ramping up later this week in the plains, in the northwest Corn Belt, into parts of Iowa, especially the western half. But we might see that harvest potential slow or the drying slow quite a bit over Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio, and probably waiting until we get into the weekend before we can really start to say we're seeing some significant dry down. Now, the flip side of that is we're not looking at a lot of moisture coming towards us then as we go through the next week and a half ahead. Another weak low does try and come out of the south central plains as we go through the 19th into the 20th, but its track right now puts the best moisture in. We're talking Ohio River, southeast Missouri, Ohio River, not really looking at it getting much farther north than that. So I think we're going to be seeing good harvest potential over a good chunk of the country. Southern half of Indiana, extreme southern Illinois, we might see 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch of moisture there. Latest model runs are showing slightly more moisture than what we saw last night. But the track is definitely well away. And then high pressure comes in again as we go into the 24th, 25th, and so on and so forth. Looking at a strong front trying to work into the central part of the country, Great Plains, as we go through the 26th, 27th. But you know what? That also looks like it wants to dig farther south and maybe hook out through. So it would lead to maybe heavier precipitation toward the turn of the month. But at least initially, it should lead to a dry feel across the Corn Belt right on through about the 27th or so. So right now I'm looking at better harvest weather as we go through, let's just say the end of this weekend, through most of next week and into the week following. The only places that we could have a few troubles will be in the extreme southern part of the Corn Belt. What are we talking about elsewhere? Well, in South America, we're still looking at some very dry air over central north parts of the region, key soybean areas. I don't know who to believe at this point. I talked with some people, and I hear some reports out there that are talking about it being so hot and so dry that people are using superlatives. But then on the other side of the equation, we're hearing people talk, it's a little dry, and they're just kind of leaving it at that. The rainy season hasn't started yet. Models are still showing that we see a big uptick in moisture as we go on toward the last we'll call it 7 days of the forecast period now, for days 9 through 16 on the GFS showing more moisture, the European getting involved, bringing some moisture in. So I think we're looking at rains coming. The question mark is, right now, what's going on? Is it a serious problem down there? Is it not? Right now, since we're so early in the crop year, especially in the central north, thoughts are that maybe it's not quite too bad yet. Also heard some reports of rust, more rust than usual down in south and southeastern parts. That makes sense. They've had good rains down there, plenty of moisture. Could be a big breeding ground. That's something we threw out in one of our webinars a few weeks back, the propensity maybe for some rust to form down there. Starting to hear some reports of that. The weather going forward at this point shows still plenty of moisture around in the south, southeast. Good rains toward the last part of the forecast period up north. And Argentina, right in the middle, expecting timely rains and temperatures that are going to be fairly close to normal. So that's what we've got on the international scale in South America. If you got any more questions about the weather, give us a shout at Allendale. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin.